Welcome back on the AM show, and the first time this year I'm bringing you my blunt thoughts, and I've titled them Brand New Year, but Same Lame Old Approach, repeating the sins of 2022. To kickstart my first blunt thoughts shared with you in the year 2023 Ghana for, I would like to ask a question to jog our brains a bit. A leopard, it is said, cannot change its spots, and an old dog, the sages say, cannot learn new tricks. But if we keep going back to the vomit of our old mistakes broadly as a continent and singly as a country, can we expect anything different from what we've always got? Can our lot be different when our actions remain the exact same? What do you think? Me? I obviously think not. Sometimes an individual may get lucky and do something the wrong way and still manage to secure a positive result. Kind of like solving a question in mathematics and getting the workings wrong, yet somehow getting the final answer right. But generally, this is not a functional principle in life, unless you're truly doing what is right and not yet seeing results, which is in a different category. I look back at 2022, a really tough year with some level of angst, and not just because of COVID-19 or the Russia-Ukraine war, which is still ongoing, but because of our sins as a nation, especially the sins bordering on leadership. Our sins caught up with us in terms of corruption-related matters, illegal mining, poor infrastructure, and inability to forecast properly in various aspects of planning, an economy that bit right through the flesh and bones of most individuals and businesses' pockets, the wrong prioritization of projects, and the disbursement of funds for same, like we've seen with the National Cathedral Project, and much more. All these and more, done for all these years, led us predictably right back to the doorstep of the IMF in an especially ignominious and inauspicious manner, considering we had been trumpeting how proud we were as a nation and how we would never go to the IMF. Those words were a boomerang that would soon return to haunt us. We've burrowed ourselves into a deep gully, and our appetite from all that we see has not slowed down. We have only been tamed and forced to think deeper into our unbridled borrowing and profligate spending because our economic wings have finally been clipped as no creditors will lend us money anymore owing to the gargantuan risk involved. 2022, however, is gone. And while we can still sense its distinctively bitter aftertaste in 2023, I was expecting to see some crucial changes in the new year, or even before, so we hit the ground running and make the most of a bad situation. I was foolish in thinking this way. Nothing. Absolutely nothing has changed. If anything at all, I'm seeing worse in some areas. Let's start with the fight against illegal mining, popularly called Galamsey. Yes, we've been told government has revised its strategy in combating Galamsey, assuring us of a sustained momentum to crack down on Galamseyers. I find this to be very positive. But when we purpose to do something like this, and then hear our own president say the things he did recently, that leaves me completely stumped. Let's listen to what the president, Akufo-Addo, said recently about Akonta mining and its brush with the law.
Let me respond briefly to the chairperson on the issue of illegal mining. I want to assure him and all of you that Akonta mining is not engaged in any illegal mining anywhere in Ghana as we speak.
You heard him. I ask, when did Mr. President start clearing people supposedly involved in the same illegal mining he claimed he would put his presidency on the line to tackle? Those comments, unfortunate as they were, and as innocuous as some may purport them to have been, were a tacit way of washing away the alleged sins of Akonta mining and its purported owner, Bernard Ntwibwe-Esiako, the MPP's Ashanti regional chairman. And this, even when the special prosecutor has hinted at delving into that very matter, that was disingenuous to say the least. Why, I ask, should Mr. President even wade into this, and what does it do for negative perceptions about the fight against corruption? You do not try striking a snake on the head with one hand and try patting it on the same head with another. It will strike you. But that's precisely what I'm seeing being done. I am upset, but maybe I shouldn't be. After all, have we not seen such reactions in the past in numerous cases from before? But when does it stop? When will we drain the swamp and sanitize our governance? A recent article reports that a circuit court at Doma Hinkro in the Doma Central Municipality of the Bono region had sentenced Alexander Addo, aged 24 and unemployed, to a fine of 1.2 billion Ghana cedis for engaging in small-scale mining without a license. Addo pleaded guilty to the charge. In default, he would serve 20 years imprisonment with hard labor. Why then create double standards? Why let the law hit hard at some and give others a slap on the wrist, so to speak? My colleague Samuel Kojo Brace was in different parts of the Western region recently, Asankragwa through to Bodie, and the nature of some of the roads there connecting cocoa-producing hubs was absolutely deflating. But even worse, it was taking a toll on crucial health services. I'd like you to watch this brief video before I continue with my discourse.
Now look at how slow the ambulance is driving. It is because of the poor nature of this road. So question is, if there's a patient in this ambulance, how fast can the ambulance take the patient?
Yes, you saw right. That was an ambulance. Now, imagine having a life-threatening emergency in an area like this, which would require emergency health care and an ambulance to convey you to a health facility. Ladies and gentlemen, it is clear that on a stretch like this, your chances of survival would be rather slim, if not non-existent. But guess what? In spite of all these problems we're saddled with as a people, we're still hell-bent on putting up a national cathedral in a short space of time. A comedian, Michael Blackson, has built a school in Agona and Saba. What does our government do with our resources? It seeks to build a cathedral. Go figure. Do you see the comedy in that? A comedian has put up a school which will, by and large, serve the people for free, while our government is busy putting up a national cathedral, which in all likelihood will not even be completed before 2024, when this administration's tenure runs out. Can you see just how absolutely ironic and hilarious that is? No wonder Bloomberg late last year taunted us. It said, the cathedral is the perfect example of the spending spree. Ghana is behaving like a fabulously rich sultanate in the Gulf rather than a developing country just attaining frontier market status. How can we continue acting in such a manner? Tell me. Debbie in the Kpando Municipal Assembly is now getting light for the first time in over 5 decades, over 50 years. Yet in faraway Japan, deliveries of food, etc., are being made by robots. In terms of development, we are light years behind most parts of the world. We absolutely do not have the luxury of time to play the waiting game. Yet at the same time, the industrialized world is still moving forward at a very fast pace. It is almost as though there were two different worlds on our planet, that of the global north and that of the global south. I ask, if we do not catch up with those advanced economies with highly developed systems, when shall we do it? If not now, when? We've had so many missed opportunities. Yes, Yet even Debi in Kpando just got light after 5 decades. Like Manifest sang in a song, one day he go be, but when one day go come? When? That is the question. As I get ready to wrap, I want to take you through some of what I've been sharing. Illegal mining in terms of Akonta. It appeared on the OSP's half-year report, and we've talked about the company's accusation of infractions of the law. And the report on illegal mining from the OSP talks about the fact that the investigation targets the activities of Akonta Mining and other companies in there. We also heard President Akufo-Addo speak to that issue in the video. If you look at the economic implications of Galamsey, according to Bloomberg, more than 19,000 hectares, or about 2% of cocoa plantations, have been destroyed by Galamsey operators. Cocoa output slumped by 34% in the first 6 months of 2022 compared to the previous year. That has been the impact. And Ghana is unlikely to meet its initial cocoa output of 850,000 tons this year. Couple that with the road network to Asankragwa to Bodie. Look at this. This is the edifice put up by Ghanaian-American comedian Michael Blackson. He says, by and large, students can be there for free, so to speak. And this is the National Cathedral Project. Priorities, prioritization. In a Facebook post, this got me thinking. I wanted to sneak it in. Someone on social media, I'll refrain from mentioning the person, says, in 2023, will we again be surprised by flooding in Accra when the heavy rains come? Then the president and cabinet will complain about littering. We circulate videos of victims. The rains stop. We forget till next time. I'm bringing this up now in January before we get there. So we start thinking about it. We start thinking about things like this. 1,446 flood incidents between 2015 and 2020. Flooding killing 510 people between those years. Over 300 people getting injured as a result of flooding between 2015 and 2020. 54,744 houses getting destroyed alongside 139,563 acres of farmland destroyed between 2015 and 2020 on the back of flooding. On average, flooding affects 45,000 Ghanaians every year and reduces our annual GDP by 0.23%, the equivalent of $178.9 million. Debbie, like I mentioned, for the first time in its existence, is now getting electricity. And about 5 million people, representing 17% of Ghana's total population, do not have access to electricity. Do not have access. 1.2 million households in Ghana do not have access to electricity. And the source is the Center for Energy Policy. Then we talk about poor roads. You can go to the Wassa Amanfi West area, apart from the ones I've spoken of. They are taking a toll on the health of the people, causing the destruction of cars, slowing down ambulances, and putting life at risk. Where do we go from here? Mr. President, as I wrap, I saw this quote somewhere yesterday, which I would like to share with you for your reflection. It reads, when a leader does not address the problem becomes the leader, and the leader becomes the problem. We're pleading with you. We need to see something new, something purposeful, something inspiring this year. We cannot be doing the same old things or worse and yet expect different results. You know that just as well as I do. The way you started with this Akunta mining rhetoric doesn't bode well for governance, the fight against Galamsey, and purging our society, especially the political class, of impunity in acting. All the same, I, like many jaded Ghanaians, are still going to keep hope alive and pray you deliver to Ghana something much better than you did last year. If that doesn't happen, however, then God help us all, for I do not know how much more we can take in terms of the hydra-headed problems of the stifling economic situation, rampant corruption, rampaging illegal mining, issues with our educational system, and much more. My simple charge, Mr. President, do something. We don't have tomorrow. All we have is today. Tomorrow is not guaranteed to anyone, but we still have today, and we can make lemonade out of even the lemons we are served in it. The time to have acted was yesterday, but that ship has already sailed. If we miss today as well, our tomorrow will suffer, and nobody wants to see that. Let us join hands and hearts in praying for Ghana and our leaders in this year, for wisdom, knowledge, understanding, strength, and everything good. Now, our dear occupants of high public office, it is up to you, the leaders, with our support, of course, to fold your sleeves and get down to work. Because if you don't, the swords of our tongues will not spare you. Godspeed, I wish you in 2023. My name is Benjamin Akakwo. I say all these things because I am extremely passionate about Amagana and what her future, intricately tied to ours, holds. These are my blunt thoughts for you, served raw, hot, unedited, and undiluted. God richly bless our motherland and make her great and strong.